Our series, as you may have seen, is called Squad Goals. And Squad Goals is just to embody the fact that friendships are really important. We all know this. We know that relationships are important. We know that friendships, being relational with people is really key to our lives. How many of you are picky eaters? Like, I feel like when I ask a junior higher, 90% of you are going to raise your hand and you go, you better ask me what foods I will eat rather than what foods I won't eat, right? Like, I had a kid that I coached a few years ago. He's a sophomore now, and I coached him for a few years, and he ate 3 things. He ate pepperoni pizza, but he took the pepperonis off. He wouldn't eat the pepperonis afterwards like a normal person. He would take the pepperonis off and then eat cheese pizza. And I'm like, so why aren't you getting a cheese pizza? He goes, because I want the flavor of the pepperonis to go through the pizza without it acting. Yeah, and I'm like, what? That's bizarre. And then he'd eat peanut butter sandwiches, but not jelly, just peanut butter with the crust cut out. No crust. And then he would eat chicken strips, but not dip them in anything, just eat them dry. And he was a really good basketball player. I was like, how are you not like rolling down a hill and weighing like 10,000 pounds? Like all he ate is just like, every time I saw him, he'd have like a whole pizza. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, just picking the pepperonis off. Why? Like, I don't get it. Now, for me, like, there's not very many foods I won't eat. I used to be a little more picky when I was a junior higher. Like, I get it. Our taste buds change over time. We get exposed to new foods. Some of our parents let us indulge in our pickiness. Some of our parents are like, you will eat it and you will like it. And I was kind of in between. So my parents never really forced me to eat stuff. But there's 2 foods that I cannot eat. And I try them every snails, yes. But there's a couple other foods I cannot eat. One of them is cucumbers. And cucumbers, and I know, you guys are all like, no. Hear me out. They're disgusting. Okay, that's all I've got. I mean, they're disgusting. No one should like them. No one should like them. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if one day we find out they're actually poisonous. And we just built up. Yeah, you heard it here first. Cucumbers are poisonous. I hate pickles because pickles are like the creepy old grandfather of the cucumber. It's like, or like, you know, the relative, or maybe like the creepy old aunt that comes and gives you like a kiss on the cheek and always leaves the lipstick and then she like wipes it off and that's how I feel when I eat a pickle. I hate it. Now, what I've thought about is why do we treat our food choices with so much more sincerity and like we anticipate our food choices. We're like, what should I eat for lunch today? Let me go through a Rolodex of information I gotta figure out. Should I call up someone and ask them what sounds best for lunch? We think about how we're gonna choose our food. And we spend so much time thinking about it. But we don't spend that time with big things in life. And one of the big things in life, one of the biggest choices you make is who you spend your time with and who you're friends with. But we don't treat our friend choices like we treat food. We just treat our friend choices like, whoever comes here, I'm gonna eat it. I'm like, bring it. Like, and whoever will accept me, I accept them. And that's how we pick our friends. And the reason why we're so wired for friendship is because you were created to be wired for relationships. And I don't mean necessarily a romantic relationship, although I think that's true too, but we were created for friendships. And before God even creates man, he says, let us make man in our image. And it's a verse that people used to look at and go, oh, that must have been a typo. But what they realized is that God actually exists, one God in 3 persons. God, the Father, Jesus, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. God existed in friendship and community and relationship before he even made man. And then once he does make man, Adam's just chilling there, and God looks down and goes, that's no good. Right? Like, it's the only thing that God creates. Everything else, he's like, birds, good. Sky, good. And then man's chilling there, he's like, oh, no good. But it's not because man wasn't good. What God's exact quote was, it's not good for man to be alone. It's not good for him to be alone. So he makes Eve. And I'm not sure, like in our lives, because we were designed and wired for relationships and friendships, but I'm not sure that there's another time in our life where we feel more alone than junior high. And there's so many of you in this room, and you go through your life and you may be surrounded by people, but you feel alone. And you're in a room of 200 people right now, and you might be sitting there going, that's me, I feel alone. And we want so desperately to be popular. We want so desperately to fit in with people. We want so desperately to have acceptance that we often go along with whoever will take us. No matter how negative of a friend, no matter how horrible of an influence they are on us, we accept our friend choices because they accept us. We crave these friendships because that's what we're made for, but that doesn't mean that all friends are good for us, just like pickles are disgusting and bad for us. Sometimes there's friends in our lives who are as well. And we crave this acceptance so badly, but here's the thing about acceptance. When you feel accepted, you open yourself up. When you feel accepted, you become vulnerable. And when you are vulnerable, that leads to influence. And vulnerability is a good thing when it's in a healthy relationship, when it's in the context of a healthy friend group. Vulnerability is an amazing, great thing. And that God has designed us that way too. But when we just crave acceptance so badly and then we open ourselves up, sometimes our influence can be bad. And we can be drastically influenced by your friends. So many of you don't realize how much you are influenced by your peers. So the Bible talks about and goes over some things, and there's a lot of things that the Bible talks about with friendships, what to avoid in a friend. But there's three things in particular I wanted to touch on tonight. And the first is that you want to avoid friendships with people that are dishonest and people that are self-seeking. And that's a lot of us in here. A lot of us are self-seeking. We live in the social media generation. You guys realize how narcissistic our society is? That's a big word that just means you're really into yourself. We've created shrines to ourselves on social media. Think about your Instagram account. Your Instagram account is just basically come check out how cool I am. Check out this picture that I totally staged and it took me 2 hours to film the shot with my friend, but look at the silhouette and now I look really cool, right? I look really cool. Come check me out, I look really cool. Facebook is very similar. I know Facebook is ew, my grandma has that. But Facebook was designed to be a shrine to yourself. It's come right on my wall. Come comment on my stuff. Come tell me how cute my baby is, right? And those aren't bad things, but that's just what we've created. We've created a society that is so self-seeking, and humans have always been selfish, but now with social media, we have an avenue to express it in so many new ways. So if you have a friend that is super self-seeking, these are the friends who are gonna use you. They're gonna be friends who use you for your own gain, and then they're gonna just drop you when it suits them to drop you. And some of you know this, you have friends like this. There's friends who bring you into all the drama in their lives. There's some of you that bring, your friend group brings so much drama to every situation, and not the good drama, like a play where you sit at the end, you go, negative, crazy drama. And that drama influences you, and then they romanticize that drama, they build it up and build it up and build it up, and it's not even a big deal, but then all of a sudden it becomes this huge thing. But Proverbs 17:17 says that a friend loves at all times. Solomon, who was the wisest man who ever lived, Solomon says in Proverbs 17:17 that a friend loves at all times. And so that's the first thing. We want to avoid friendships that are dishonest and self-seeking. We want to avoid friendships with people who gossip. And this one's pretty like self-explanatory. You don't want to be around someone who gossips because that means you can't trust them. But we so often just excuse people who gossip, and then we just go running right back to them, and they break our trust, and we cry about it, and we go, I'm done with you. And then like 2 days later, they're like, I accept you, and you're like, influence me. And you come back to them again. And Proverbs 11:13 says, a gossip betrays a confidence, but a trustworthy man keeps a secret. See, the Bible knows this. The Bible knows that in Proverbs, in the middle of your Bible, it tells you that a gossip is going to betray your confidence, but a trustworthy person will actually keep your secret. Imagine, Gavin, you're in the front row here. Gavin told me this secret this morning. Gavin's got a crush. And her name, no, don't be gossips. That's not okay. I can gossip. Her name's Bethany. And Bethany, she's amazing. Gavin hasn't talked to her yet. He's had a crush on her since first grade. And he's been watching her across the crowded classroom, waiting to make his move, going to ask her for a milkshake date at Sylvester's. He's getting ready. He's gonna make his move, but he hasn't done it yet. He sent her a couple Snapchats with wink faces on him just to warm it up. But he hasn't talked to her. Oh, Gavin, I just told your secret. No, of course Bethany's fake. But the point is, right, imagine if Gavin had entrusted that to me, and then all of a sudden I'm like, hey everyone, Gavin loves Bethany. I know his secret, right? And I say it, that's not good. That's not good. And those friendships breed dishonesty and distrust and will ultimately lead to dissension, which is a very fancy word for it's going to lead to conflict. And number 3, and this is a big one, avoid friendships with people who are going to lead you into sin. Proverbs 13:20, we'll put it on the screen. Proverbs 13:20 tells us that he who walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools suffer harm. You are who you hang out with. This is such a true statement. It's a promise. If you hang out with wise people, you'll become wise. If you hang out with fools, you'll be a fool. And we don't mean fool necessarily like dumb. The Bible refers to fool as someone who knows the right thing, but does the wrong thing. So if you are going to associate yourself with a fool, you'll become fools. In fact, this guy named Jim Rohn says that you yourself will be the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I want you to think real quick in your head, who are the 5 people I spend the most time with? And is that a good thing? Because you are becoming the average of those 5 people. And the types of friendships that I just described, those 3 that we want to avoid, those friendships are toxic. They're toxic. A study in Australia found that people on average live longer when surrounded by a healthy group of friends. Like an actual 10-year study. But they found out that it's the opposite is true. If you have an unhealthy group of friends, like your lifespan's actually shorter because of all the stress and the medical problems that'll eventually put on you. Like your toxic friends can literally make you sick. And I don't know if you've kind of thought through this, but that starts now in junior high. Picking friends well. Your friends will actually determine the quality and direction of your life. For those of you that don't know, I have 2 jobs. So I'm the pastor here and I love it. I'm also a teacher and I love that. And I'm at Atascadero Middle School, and I've worked with a lot of students over the last 6 years of being a teacher. And I also was a hub group leader here for 5 years in junior high and in high school. And a group that I had in junior high, there was a student that I had that came to Christ. He was baptized. He was awesome. He was inviting his friends to church. He was telling people about Jesus. He was a 3-sport athlete, just like a phenomenal young man, straight A student. And then I noticed like towards the middle of his freshman year, he stopped coming to youth group. And so I'd try to call him. I'd call him up or text him. But, hey man, what's going on? What's going on? And he just didn't respond. But one day he called me out of the blue and he's crying and he's just like, hey, I just need to talk to you. Can we just meet up? Can we please meet up and just talk? I said, all right, man, I got it. So we went out to lunch And he's telling me that he was with his friends and he kept surrounding himself with this group of friends, and they were getting drunk every weekend. And he was going out with his freshmen. He's going out getting drunk with them every weekend. And he didn't get drunk, but he was going with these friends that did. And then one day they pressured him enough where he finally was like, I'm just going to get drunk. And he made this decision, terrible decision while he was drunk, hurt himself, then lied to it because he tripped, then lied to his dad, and then he's beating himself up because now he's building all these lies with his dad about trying to avoid and punishment. And so he's like, what do I do? Tell me what to do. I'll do anything. What do I need to do? I said, you got to get away from that friend group. You got to get away from that friend group. And he goes, well, but we're Christians. Like, we've got to be with the people that are really hard, right? Like, we got to be with them. And I said, well, there's a huge difference between having compassion for someone and actually loving them, but then engaging in what they're doing. And when you put yourself willingly in a position where you're going to fail, then that's not love. That's just getting sucked in with them. And so I told him, get away from your friend group. He went back to this friend group to tell them, I'm gonna break away from you. And they kept pressuring him. No, what are you doing? No, you're not. Come on, man, come on. And then they started offering him weed. And they said, dude, just smoke with us. Like, just smoke. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And their exact line, he told me this because he came back the first few times he rejected the weed. And he said, well, they told me to don't pull a Talbert. And I was like, what? And he's like, well, like, not party. I was like, I'm a verb? That's cool. Like a really lame verb, because these guys used to be in my hub group too. There were a couple others that were kind of the instigators and bringing all the drugs and stuff in there. And they're like, dude, don't pull a Talbert, you lame-o. Like, all right, that's cool, man. I'm a synonym for lame. That's okay. He came back to church for a little while. He confessed that he got drunk. He confessed it in our hub group. It was this huge moment. And he was good for about 3 weeks. But he kept going with that friend group. And after about 5 weeks, I haven't heard from him in 2 years. But I know, because of other friends that are telling me, I know what he's participating in. It's much worse than what it was. I still text this kid. He's not a kid anymore. He's an adult. But I text him every month. And I just tell him, hey, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. Or I'll text him, I'll just say, hey, you're cared about. I texted him on his birthday last April, and it was the first time I heard back from him in 2 years. He actually said, like, he was shocked I remembered his birthday, because we were in the hub. And that's the thing about hub groups is, like, you have these leaders that care about you. You have these students that want to build lives together with you. And my prayer for him, because I don't know how he's doing fully right now, but I know that he's loved, and I know that there's forgiveness in Jesus, but the way that he surrounded himself with these friends it was going to ruin him, and it did. The companion of fools suffers harm. So fool's that person that knows that difference between right and wrong, but it doesn't do it. So I want to do something kind of a little different tonight. I need 6 volunteers. 1, 2, just come up on stage. 3, 4, 5, and 6. I picked on you, Gavin, so you got to come up. Okay, I want you guys to kind of be right here. Now, you're going to not step on all the equipment, but you're going to kind of make a circle. Go ahead and make a circle. All 6 of you, make a circle. Come on up. Okay, or 7 of you, I guess. Okay, don't step on that. Okay, you guys are going to kind of scoot a little bit over this way. You're going to face that way. And you're going to walk in a circle going this way. Okay, go ahead. Start walking in a circle. Tighten that circle. Start walking in a circle. Okay. Okay. Now, this is a group of people. Don't step on that. Watch where you're going. This is a group of people that's doing a bunch of things wrong. And you might be realizing today this is a very unhealthy squad. They're literally going in a circle. It's a very unhealthy squad. Now, one day, Davin hears this, keep walking in a circle. Davin hears this message and he's like, you know what? I don't want to be a companion of fools. I don't want to suffer harm. So I'm going to step outside of this circle. And I'm going to just try to talk to them and love them from a distance. But then he goes, you know what I could do? I could actually still participate with them, but not do the things they're doing. But I can actually try to change them. So Davin, you're going to walk the other direction. Go ahead. And no, you guys keep walking in this way. Go ahead, Davin. Oh no, you got to actually walk you got to walk with them, Davin, like here, but other direction. Go ahead. And Davin, can you start trying to like talk to them and no, you can't stop them. You just got just keep walking, Davin. You got to stop, have a conversation with them. Davin, ask them about their day. No, keep walking, Davin. Ask about their day. Keep about their day. Okay, ask. Okay, cool. Let's give these 6 a hand. Have a seat. Or 7. There's 7 of you. Have a seat. Now, this is just to show you guys. Now, Davin got back in this circle, and he's trying to walk this way, but he's trying to do the right thing. But eventually what's happening is his friends are sucking him right back to where he was. Because you saw he kept trying to slow down, and then he's backpedaling, and he's getting caught up with them. And he's trying to, but the problem is when you walk with fools, you're getting hit by their proximity. It doesn't even matter that you're not doing the wrong thing. Their wrong choices will affect you. One of these times, they're going to drink a little too much. One of these times, they're going to talk a little back too much to a teacher. You're going to go to attention. One of these times, they're going to steal something that's big and you get caught with them. One of these times, they're going to do something that's going to bring you down. A companion of fools suffers harm. Andy Stanley's this awesome pastor. He offers 5 guardrails to consider when you're in your friend group. And if you feel any of these in your friend group, it might be a time for you to take a step back and go, is this really healthy friends for me? The first one is your core group isn't moving in the direction that you want your life to move. Your core group isn't moving in the direction you want your life to move, like we just demonstrated. The second one, you find yourself pretending. You find yourself trying to be someone else when you're with this group. Number 3, you find yourself compromising. Oh, well, I'll just try this thing I didn't say I would try. I'll just do it this one time. You find yourself going to things without participating, or you find yourself hoping the people you care much about don't find out who you hang out with. So the people in your life that you care the most about, you're like, oh, I don't want them to know what I'm doing. That's a sign that you might need to take a step back and examine and maybe break away from people that are in your squad. And we're going to pivot real quick, and we're going to talk about what to look for in a friend. I want you to see this story. In Luke 5:17, it says, on one of those days, as he was teaching, Pharisees and teachers of the law were sitting there who had come from every village of Galilee and Judea and from Jerusalem. And the power of the Lord was with him to heal. So Jesus is here. He's healing people. People are coming in for all kinds of miracles. And like, Jesus is awesome. And there's Pharisees there that are sitting there going, I hate that Jesus guy because he's stealing our thunder. And Jesus is doing all these awesome things. He's saying he's the Son of God. And then in verse 18, and behold, some men were bringing on a bed a man who was paralyzed. And they were seeking to bring him in and lay him before Jesus, verse 19, but finding no way to bring him in because of the crowd, they went up on the roof and they let him down on his bed through the tiles into the midst before Jesus. So they're like, this guy, we find no way to get to Jesus. We're going to climb the roof. We're going to lay this guy down and we're going to hope Jesus can heal him. And Jesus sees this guy. And you can imagine this scene. And you can imagine all these religious type people going, oh, those people are sinners. Oh, disrespectful, am I right? And they're laying this guy down before Jesus and saying, God, we know you can do this. We know you can heal our friend. And verse 20 says, and when Jesus saw their faith, he said, your sins are forgiven you. And then he goes on to heal this guy. But I want you to notice what it says. It doesn't say when Jesus saw the paralyzed guy, he felt sorry for him. It doesn't say when Jesus saw the paralyzed guy's faith, then he healed him. It says when he saw the faith of the friends that brought the guy to Jesus, then he healed him. These guys risked a lot to get this guy to Jesus. But ultimately, you guys need to understand that the friends that you want to surround yourself with, what you want to look for in a friend, will be people who will lead you to Jesus. Because the only way to have that healthy squad and not a toxic squad is for Jesus to be in the center of it healing. And Jesus heals the people when they come to him. So when you bring your friends to Jesus and when your friends bring you to Jesus, that is the kind of friend goals. That's the kind of squad goals that we want. Let's pray. God, thank you for who you are. Thank you for the way that you've taught us in your word and you've made clear to us how to pick healthy friends. Would you allow us to do this and pick healthy friends and maybe make hard choices about the friends we